I wanted to come on here because I needed to talk to y'all about trusting the process and surrendering to grace. So actually, the funny thing is I did this video on yesterday and no sound. And so I'm trying to see if I have sound today. Do I have sound today? Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Make sure. Is there sound today? Is there sound today? Okay, just checking to make sure. Thank you so much, because this, y'all, is a redo of the video I did, I think, day before yesterday. So I did a video on trusting the process. I think I called it Trusting God, but today it just flowed out of me trusting the process and surrendering to grace. And I'm doing this video. Thank you so much for joining, sis. I'm going to look at your email when I get off of here, because it left my mind. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this because I have a good friend that is in a battle. And so she asked me to do this video. She asked me if I would do a live on surrendering to grace, because that was one of the things that I said to her, because she was going through something. She was having, different struggles emotionally and stuff, which you can have when you're going through challenges, health challenges, especially. And so I told her, the thing I said to her was surrender to grace. Allow grace to be the thing for you right now. I said, because right now you don't need to be dealing with anything else but you. I said, you don't need to be thinking about, kids, grandkids, none of that stuff. You need to focus on you. Oh, good. Oh, okay. Awesome. That makes me feel better, because I was like, oh my God, did I, because y'all know, you get 25,000 emails, seems like, in a day. And so many of them are all those spam things and all that stuff. So I ain't gonna lie, I have days, and I gotta stop that I don't even look at my damn email, because it's so much crap and junk, and so I think about it, and I say, well, I might miss the opportunity. But you know what? I don't believe that. I believe that all the opportunities that I'm supposed to have, I'm going to have regardless. And so anyway, so that's another thing that, I shifted. And that's another part for me of trusting the process. Because a lot of times, we get all caught up in, running around, doing all the things that we need to do, or that we feel like we're supposed to do. Let's say that. And I can speak from this lens. I'm a Gen X. So, I've been on this planet now over 50 years. But I can speak from that lens where, we think, okay, we got 50,000 things to do. For me, I have 50,000 things to do in my mind all the time. Even people talk about meditating. Well, for me, meditating is one of those things where I just have to allow those things to be. But I just have to focus on what I'm focusing on. And so that is another thing to me in trusting the process. And also allowing and surrendering to grace. Now, when we surrender into grace, that actually is surrendering and stepping into our feminine, our divine feminine, because grace is what that is flow and grace, and ease, instead of, all the hustle and the grinding and all of that stuff, and I'm sure that that is a model that some people use, and that's all right for them, but for me, I'm gonna trust the process. I'm surrendering to grace. I'm allowing the things to flow through me. And I'm going to tell you a story about how I trusted the process. So I was thinking about something, and I wanted to have a service done. Matter of fact, it was an Akashic Records reading service. And I had never really had one done before. I've had friends that were doing it, and, they promised me readings, but they didn't, we never connected it, all kinds of stuff like that. So I felt like maybe that wasn't the time. Because a lot of times when you are trusting the process and when you're trusting God, things will start to show up in your awareness because you desire them. Because you have set your intention and you have created and you have connected so to the spirit world that your desires you don't even have to think about. And that's one of the things also that I speak over my life. And so I know that that works. I speak that over my life, that my whole life is a prayer. I speak that because I know that that's who I am. I know that when people are in my presence, sometimes there's ease that shows up. And I recognize that now. But that's because I've been trusting this process. Because this process is not for the faint. It's not for the weak. It's not for the ones that, don't think that they can make it. This process is for people that know, on a level even. Because sometimes you know something on a level that that you don't really know, if that makes sense. So it's like you are aware of all of the things, but you don't really understand how deep it can get. And so for me, I had this Akashic Records reading, and that's what I was getting to about trusting the process. And so I've been wanting to have it, and she asked me did I have questions, but I didn't have questions. Because I'm telling you, it can be that, like, just like that. It can be like that. But it was a process for me how I got there. Now what I'm seeing in the atmosphere is it doesn't have to be that type of process. It's just what do you have to overcome as far as like for me, I had to overcome a lot of stuff here inside my mind. My grandmother was a pastor, and I know that is a legacy. And I tell people she was my first energy healer because that really is what she was, but that wasn't the terminology that they used back in those days. But she, and I know that I'm supposed to, push her legacy forward. And this is exactly what this reading said to me. It was so amazing the way it went through, because she thought that the lady she was bringing through was somebody I didn't know or that was ancient, but it wasn't that. This lady that she brought through was my grandmother. I know it. I felt it. I feel her all the time. She's become one of my guides. I know that it was her. And so when she brought it through, it was so amazing how things came. And so trusting the process was a part of the thing for me, because I was like, I'm not, because I don't, I honestly don't get a lot of readings. Like I get some from, friends and people that I know. Sometimes I'll go in a room on TikTok and, get one like that. But I'm not a person that just runs and chases readings, because I know that the wisdom that I need is inside of me. And that is another part of trusting the process. Trusting the process of opening it up. Trusting the process of allowing it to flow through and getting the downloads, receiving the downloads, and then doing the action that is required. Sometimes the action is just to pray. Sometimes the action is to call somebody or email somebody or do something. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's allowing. Sometimes it's meditating or just being. Because sometimes I think people a lot of times overuse meditation. They're like, oh, I'm going to go meditate. Sometimes it's not meditation. Sometimes it's just being. Sometimes I just go and I lie down on the bed and I just be. I allow thoughts and things to go. I don't grab hold of them. I know there's shit I have to do. I know I have to do dishes. I know I have to, go and, do some things. I know I'm creating a course, so I have to make some videos and I have to do these things and be present. But do I have to do them at that very moment? No, I don't. I don't have to do them at that moment. And so in trusting the process, that is a part of it. Understanding and recognizing that, yes, you see, Susie Jane over there, and she's got, 25,000 things going on, and you think that that's what you're supposed to do as well. And guess what? No, that is not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to stay in the space where you live. Trust your own process. We all have our own processes. We all have our own connection to God, to source, to spirit, to the universe, to the Holy Spirit, whatever you call him, her, or them, the God of your understanding. We all have that connection. Now, some people have a deeper connection, of course. Why? Because they spend more time cultivating it. And that's a whole another thing too. Once you start spending time cultivating your connection, your relationship with God, with the source, with the universe, with the omni, as my mother calls it, You start cultivating that. Because one thing I learned through going to church all my life is church does not cultivate that. Church does not cultivate that. I know that I'm speaking different from, other people that have spoken about this, but church does not cultivate relationship with God. Spending time with God, spending time with yourself, spending time getting to know and getting to understand, who that is for you. Who is the source, the universe, God? Who is that for you? That is a part of the process that you're trusting. Because we're all different. We're not all the same. We don't even all want the same things. None of that. However, we can still trust the process. We can still learn how these things show up for us. We can begin to really study us, and that is a part of trusting this process. Because if you don't know who you are, then how can you know anything? You know what I mean? How can you even serve people? Especially for those of us that are entrepreneurs. You can't serve people if you don't know who you are and you don't understand and know your values. Because the thing of it is there's so many ways that you can do things. If you need some money, you could always go and rob a bank. But is that a part of your values? You see what I'm saying? It's not a part of mine. You know what I mean? I could need some money, but I'm not going to rob a bank because I can't do prison. Just can't. That's the one thing. But the other thing is, not only can I not do prison, I know that's just not right. And I can't do the karma that would come from that. I'm good. I'm not doing that. But you see what I'm saying? There are ways. You can go work. You can start a business. You can do a side hustle. All kinds of things, all kinds of ways to solve that problem. But what is the best and correct way for you? Because you might be a person that, you don't mind stealing, or you might be a person that, embezzles or whatever, but, if that is how you do it, that's how you do it, but you have to figure out what is it that worked for you and how can you give yourself grace around it? How can you surrender to grace in your life? What are ways that you can be open to grace in your life? What are ways that maybe you need to slow down? Because one thing I've noticed is that when you need to slow down, especially if you are a person who is called to this work, a person who is called to, any kind of work that supports people, you got to give yourself grace. You might not be able to finish this thing at this time, but what's going on with you? Why you can't finish it? You know what I mean? So like for me, I had to give myself grace with the long COVID because that thing has been really treacherous for me. I had to really give myself grace, and I had to realize that, at this moment, in this season, I'm a different person than I was even 2 years ago. I'm a different person. And so I had to give myself grace in that. I had to give myself grace on the days, which I still have them, where I'm super exhausted. It used to be every day, for about probably almost a year. It was every single day. But now it's not every day, but there are those days. And even though, I'm probably 75% is what I consider. But there are those days and there are those times when I just can't remember shit. My brain fog is over the top. Or let me say the brain fog, because it ain't mine. The brain fog is over the top. And there are those days, and I have to give myself grace in them, even if I'm in the middle of creating, because I am a creator. So I like to create. Like I'm working on a course. I'm creating a circle. I'm writing another book. 2 of them. But yeah, and then I write articles and all kinds of things, so I could be potentially busy all the time, but I cannot do that. I physically cannot do it. Mentally, I can't do it. So I had to give myself grace around all that stuff. And then I have people, reaching out to me. Oh, well, can I get you 25, appointments, in a day? I was like, are you crazy? or in a week. I was like, are you crazy? I cannot work with that many people, not individually. I said maybe in a group, but no, that's not something that I have capacity to do at this time. I don't honestly think I ever had capacity to do that, but especially at this time of me surrendering and giving myself grace. You know what that looks like, and I want you to think about what that looks like for you. What does it look like when you give yourself grace? You know, because it looks different for different people. Now, it used to look like when I used to work 2 and 3 jobs, it looked like when I took that week off, because I would work and work and work and work and work like every single day for months. And then I would take a week off, or usually I work 6 days because, of course, I had to go to church on Sunday, you know, but I would work Saturday night. And then I'd be off on Sunday because I had to work, you know, work in the church all morning. And then I would go to the, you know, and then I would be off so I could sleep that night. You know, but it was, yeah, so I would work, you know, work. And then I would take, you know, a week off or so and take my kids somewhere, you know, go to Disney World, or because we used to live on the East Coast. So I go to Disney World, or we go to Myrtle Beach because we lived in South Carolina, or, you know, different places, Atlanta, you know, we go to Six Flags or whatever. So I would take that week off. We go to the beach and stay at the beach, or, you know, my mom had a timeshare that we would borrow, so I would go and take that for a week. And that was, for me at the time, that was me giving myself grace. You know, that was the self-care that I needed, that my family needed, but that was me giving myself grace. You know, and so throughout, you know, but that's how I did it. Now it's a different type of grace. Now it's a daily grace because, you know, my children have grown up and they're all living in their own states. So I don't have that daily, you know, every day got to look out for them type of thing, you know. And, you know, and being a mother was one of the greatest gifts that I have had in my life, you know. But, you know, now being a mother that has children that are grown and taking care of their own selves is even a greater gift. It's the most amazing thing, you know. But so I give myself grace in a different way, you know, even though, you know, like we're planning to go on this little trip and spend a couple of days away, and it's just so awesome, you know, this time that we can give ourselves for that, you know. And even like I said, in days, you know, there are days where I'm so exhausted, and those days you will not see me on this app, you will not see me live. I won't be live on TikTok, which I haven't done in like 2 days 2 or 3 days, you know. So I have to give myself this grace, you know, because I can't. And then there are times when, like, I'm working on stuff and doing things, like I have my podcast as well, straight out of Savannah. Make sure that you guys watch the premiere tomorrow night, 5:15 p.m. Pacific time. I interviewed Angel Deere. He's a phenomenal healer. The interview was awesome. So make sure that you catch that tomorrow when it premieres. And every Friday after that, I premiere one 5:15 p.m. Pacific time. You know, unless it's the time I have to give myself grace because sometimes I just be too exhausted to even do it. You know, so these are things. And so, you know, I want you to know that it's okay to give yourself grace. It's okay. It is okay. You do not have to continue to keep pushing and hustling and all that stuff. Hustle culture is, I think it should be over, but it's over for me. You know, I'm not hustling nothing. I am moving in flow, allowing, you know, spirit to move through me, allowing the downloads to show up and come, allowing my wisdom to shine through and come forth. And this is the space that I'm in now. So, super grateful to be here. Thank you for joining, and I hope that you are trusting in the process and giving yourself grace, because I'm telling y'all, that is such a better way to be, because I've been on both sides. You know, I've been in the hustle culture because, like I told y'all, I used to work it was normal for me to work 2 jobs. Usually I worked 3, sometimes 4. I think there was a time I worked 5 fucking jobs, and I had to write down where I was going each day. Yeah, on the calendar. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And also follow me on TikTok at Intuitive Tammy as well. You can also follow me on Instagram at Intuitive Tammy 56, which is how old I'll be in about 3 weeks. My birthday is November 1st. I take gifts. I take GIFs. I take Cash App. I take PayPal. I take Stripe. I take all kinds of stuff. But yeah, and definitely check out my stand store, which is going to be in the description. Has all kinds of different things that I'm doing. The class that I'm creating, I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be more like a hybrid class, or like I'll make it available. I'm not really sure. I'm working on it now. But I plan, my goal is to have it finished by next weekend. So that's my goal. So it'll be available for purchase also. And I also do phone sessions. So you can join me on the phone for 30 minutes of coaching or healing, messages from spirit, whatever comes through. $55 for 30 minutes. And I think that's an amazing thing. So definitely, if you want to get on that, check out the stand store that's on there. And I think I also have it in my community tab. There's a post on it too, where you can also grab the link there, because those are phenomenal. It came to me, I got it downloaded because I was doing these long sessions and people were like, well, do you have anything? So I was like, yeah. So I created that. And I absolutely love doing them. I mean, it really is a lot of fun to me. And that to me is what drives me. One of the things that drives me. Fun, freedom, and intuition. Those are the three things that drive me. Those are the things that I'm in devotion to. But I had to figure it out too. So ask yourself too, what are things that you're in devotion to? And what that'll do is that'll guide your life. Because once you decide and you figure out and you set intentions to what it is that drives you. Like, I have to be free. I have to be free. So, so I realized that was a thing why I worked all those jobs. Because I wanted to feel free. I wanted to be in control of my life. And now that I've had this Akashic reading, it makes me understand why I feel that way, because I've done this in other lifetimes. Not only that, but I've also felt, y'all, it's fruit fly season here. I didn't even know there was such a thing until yesterday. But I felt, hold on, y'all. I felt that so intensely. You know what I mean? I'm finding my words. I think it may be simplicity, creativity, freedom. Yes, you see what I'm saying? When you find those, then it will take you right where you need to be. Because I'm telling you, when I realized that I love freedom, and travel is my love language. So y'all will hear about that. Like, travel is my love language. We're going to our little island to stay a couple of days and a couple of weeks. So I'll let y'all know when I'm gone, because I will not be on here because there is no Wi-Fi. So it really is off the grid, which is sometimes needful, because my husband was like, you want to stay a week? I was like, I don't know if I can do a week without Wi-Fi, maybe a couple of days. Because we're so tethered to our Wi-Fi, y'all. Oh my God. It's like, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no TV, all of that. And it's like, So anyway, I just want to thank y'all. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you for showing up for me and just for commenting. I appreciate you. Hope that your day is magical. And I hope that you got something out of this, because this flowed through me, as most of these things do. But if you're interested in having a session with me, you can reach out to me. You can comment below the video. You can go in my About section and find all the places where I am. I think my email is actually also in there as well, so you can email me as well. So definitely make sure that you're checking all that out. And also drop down in the comments and look at my Amazon links for my Amazon shop. And I linked a bunch of things that I use, that I work with. I think it's phenomenal. And then let me invite y'all also to Unlocking Your Psychic Development, your Psychic Potential Development Circle. And that is starting in November on the 1st. We start at 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be so much fun because we're coming together in circle. We're going to be learning all about our gifts, about ourselves. It's going to be an opening up, a cracking up of learning yourself and who you are and understanding the gifts that you possess. And also, of course, working with them, having a safe place to practice, where if you were wanting to learn, about your psychic gifts or your mediumship gifts, coming in this space of practice. So I'm just so excited, right? I know. I know, I thought about that, but I was trying to avoid Thanksgiving. That was my goal, because I was like, if I start in November, then, you got Thanksgiving and all that, and so I was trying to avoid that. So it'll be all right, because I do truly enjoy this work. So that's one of the things. I can hear my husband, it's your birthday, but we celebrate our birthdays for a month. So we just finished celebrating my husband's birthday in September. So we'll celebrate mine until December at least. Because that's what we do, but yeah. So once you decide that and you figure out, what it is that moves you, because what moves some people don't move other people. Because I thought mine was one of mine would be money, but it's not. It's not. And what came to me was, it's because I always know, like I know I have solidified that. I have had my conversations with money. I write money a letter, usually a couple of times a month. Matter of fact, it's probably time for me to do that again. But I write my money a letter, and I talk to it, and I tell it, I give gratitude for it being here when I need it, when I desire it, and I set my intention that it is. Whenever I need it, I have it. And I set my intention that I receive it every single day. And you know what's wild, y'all? Every single day I find money. I either find it or somebody gives me some or something, but I understand that. And so I recognize that there is a vibration to money, and that is where I have begun to step into that vibration of money. And so when you start stepping into that vibration of money, then you stop worrying about whether it's going to be there for you, whether it's going to show up. And you start realizing that, you are money. You are the vibration of money. And so why wouldn't it come to you? So that's something else. It's probably another video. But again, trust the process. Surrender to grace. Allow yourself to just be sometimes. Just allow yourself to be. There's not enough of that. Not enough of that. But so many people now have started to talk about that. How you just have to be. And I was telling my husband yesterday, I said, I felt so bad. I just didn't feel good. And I couldn't shake it. And I kept trying to, spiritually gloss it over. Oh, I feel fine. I feel good. I feel wonderful. But I didn't. I didn't feel bad. Feel good. I felt bad. But I learned, how to, just not give into that feeling. You know what I mean? Or to allow myself grace. Better. Allow grace. Say, okay, well, I don't feel good today. Okay, well, then I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna push and do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just gonna be and allow myself just to chill. Take it easy. So again, thank you for joining. I really appreciate y'all. I hope that your day is magical. It's still early over here for me on the West Coast. 10:32, I think it is. But I do appreciate. I do so appreciate. And thank you. And I hope that everything in your life is magical. And that as you surrender to grace, you're able to just be. Just be. And I'm telling you, as we surrender, as we do this work within ourselves, our lives are going to change so much. Like, you're going to look at your life in 6 months and it won't be recognizable, because you've been doing this work and the things are starting to show up. God, I'm so grateful for it. So again, have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, weekend, whenever you catch this, because this is YouTube, so it'll live forever. I appreciate you for joining me. And make sure that, you're checking everything out and going and looking at some videos and seeing what other wisdom that I'm bringing forth. Again, so thank you for joining. Bye now.